What's going on, everyone? Juicebags here, and welcome back to some Dungeon Defenders Awakened. And we are here on the Glitterhelm Caverns Challenge Massacre Hardcore map. Now, this map is a great grinder. I've been getting lots of people requesting some Massacre videos. I'm not quite ready to start the Massacre playthrough yet on the channel. I will be getting that started here in the next couple of days, but I wanted to get a little bit of Massacre gameplay out there. And this map is just a fantastic grinder map that, with RNG on your side, has the potential to drop the highest quality loot in the game. So definitely a map you will be visiting. Now, for this particular run, I'm going to go with some Squire blockades. I'm going to DPS on a monk with a dragon. I'm using a little 80 upgrade dragon here. And I do have my weapon upgraded as lightning damage. You can take a look at my stats there. Going to be using a lot of traps, and here is my traptress setup at the moment. As I mentioned, the blockades, and then we are going to have some aura stacks, and there is a look at my monk stats. Now, one of the reasons I'm grinding this particular map is it is a great weapon grinder. Now, one thing we're coming to realize is monk polearms have an extremely rare chance to drop on the ground with 5 projectiles. Originally, we thought it was just the Dragon's Fangs polearm. It appears it could be any of them. We thought it was this one at first. However, people are finding all sorts of the different weapons with 5 projectiles. It is just amazingly rare, though. I have yet to see a single one of them, even a lower quality one. And one thing about this map is if you're playing a monk actively, you are going to get just a boatload of polearms, and that's what I am looking to farm at the moment. Now, this particular map has extremely short build timers. You will not have time to set things up and go casually. It is go, go, go. And with that in mind, you want to actually not only have your first builder out, but you want to have your first defense ready to place before you even hit G. So we're going to do that, and we're going to start things off with 2 explosive traps. We're going to go with a gas trap right in the middle, a darkness trap behind, and Inferno trap, and then I'm going to stack a couple more Inferno traps here, and then quickly switch over to my monk. Now, Inferno traps are beast. What more can you say? Inferno traps are stacking, so if you put a lot of them down, they're chaining together, and the damage is stacking. Of course, currently in the game, explosive traps will not stack, and they chain together, meaning if you have 2 explosive traps close to each other, both of the explosive traps will not damage the same enemy. Only one of them will, and the Inferno trap is just absolutely beast mode right now. So Inferno traps and Thunder Spike traps are both stacking. Now, Thunder Spike, of course, is single target. However, you can have multiple Thunder Spikes hitting the same target, and that just makes them absolutely incredible. So we're going to be using a lot of Inferno traps, we're going to be using a lot of Thunder traps, and we're going to get this all dialed in. Now, wave 2, my goal is to get aura stacks down, so I'm going to have to watch the mob counter, and the second I start getting low, we need to switch over, or be prepared to switch over to the monk, my builder monk that is, and get those aura stacks down and squared away. We got 2 enemies left. Just the one. I think it's a flyer. Yeah, there's kind of a slow-moving flyer at the end of the waves here, which actually works to your advantage, because you can be completely ready to swap heroes here and wait for that flyer to die. So, for our R stacks, we're going to go with Ensnare, Electric, Strength Drain, and then I'm going to put an Enrage right in the back and quickly switch back over to my DPS Monk. Now, this particular wave, we are going to have an Ogre, so we're going to have to kite that Ogre around just a little bit, and, you know, kiting Ogres is always, it can be a sketchy experience. If you get caught off guard, you could get clubbed, so, you know, you just don't want to get caught off guard because we don't have any blockades or anything yet. Now, remember, on this challenge, you are the core, so you can't die. If you die, it's GG. You're going to have to start over. So you want to be really careful, particularly with, like, the little kobolds. Anything that could one-shot you is just bad news, so be super cautious. See, I took a big old swap of damage there. Right as I'm saying, be cautious. And here is Mr. Ogre. I'm just gonna kind of bob and weave and give him the old Mike Tyson treatment and kite him around a little bit. Looks like we may have him here. You can run past him when he's in his wind-up with his little ogre snot ball there and not have to worry about him taking a shot at you as you run by. So if you watch for that, that's definitely a good thing. Now, wave 3, we want to get our blockade set up. So let's quickly swap over to our Squire. I'm going to put a Slice and Dice right in the very back. I'm going to put a Spike Blockade right in the front. Now, you want your Spike Blockade slightly over to one side or the other. It doesn't matter which side you pick, because you want to be able to run in and out, right? So you want to give yourself a little space there where you can run it in and out without worrying about an Ogre coming through. You know, an Ogre's just not going to make it through that gap. So the base of our build is in. Now, why the Slice and Dice, you ask? Things get really, really hectic in the final wave. The Delphs are completely out of control, and we also know Slice and Dices are such an incredible flyer defense, and we do have flyers. So all the flyers will be coming up from behind me. However, any flyers that sneak up from behind me are just going to get burned by that Slice and Dice, so no real issue there. Now, I do want to make sure I'm close enough up here where my dragon is getting some work in, but on the same note, I don't want to take any unnecessary damage and die. So I want to make sure I'm being careful here. Get a little tower boost going up there on those traps and auras to give me a little bit more damage. And at this point, it's, you know, it's just wall repair simulator. You want to make sure you're getting close enough for the dragon to get the ogres. And there we go. He is attacking the ogre, no problem. And we got to keep our wall alive, of course. Now, as soon as these ogres die, we're going to be swapping over to a Huntress again to get more traps down. My goal here for this next wave is to get a ton, an absolute ton of Inferno traps down to create a bit of absurdity. So let's get it going here. Our Infernos, we're going to have to shrink them way down. Let's just get as many of them as we can and then quickly swap back over. Now, keep an eye out if anything's about to die. Any of these traps are going to die. You're going to want to throw an upgrade on them. However, I am saving the bulk of my mana for the end. In addition to that, if you're going on the Monk like I'm doing, make sure you place your tower boost a little bit late. That way, something gets down to trigger those Infernos. Because remember, the Inferno damage is going to do the damage through its entire cycle that it starts with. So if your Inferno goes off with your tower boost on it, and it lasts for, what, over a minute, that means you've got that tower boost on that Inferno for a full minute. And that's, you know, clearly good stuff there. So how did I do on Infernos? I didn't get as many Infernos down as I'd like, but I still have 2 more waves. So I'll get a couple more Infernos down at the end of, or at the break in between wave 4 and wave 5. And then I think I'm going to switch over to some Thunder Spikes. The Thunder Spikes help you out a great deal with the Ogres. You see the Wyverns are getting wrecked. And as I mentioned, there's going to be a very, very large Delph problem here in the late waves. And this Slice and Dice is just going to save the day. There's just no doubt about it. We will let this dragon have his way. You do want to make sure, in addition, that you constantly heal yourself. So the second you take damage, you're going to want to heal yourself back up, because this is Massacre mode, and there will be lots of baddies that will give you a really rough time if you're not paying attention to your health. Let's grab some of this mana. You see all the pole arms, swords, just scattered across the ground here. Looks like I can get probably like 3 more Infernos in. We'll try to get those down here for wave 4. So I'm just going to chillax right here and be ready to swap to my Huntress and wait for this flyer to die off. And here we go. We can go, what, 1, 2, 3 more Infernos, and then let's just go ahead and get our first Thunder Spike down, and we'll swap over. Once again, if anything is super low, throw a repair, throw an upgrade, throw whatever. You're going to have tons of mana at the end of the map. So, you know, use it if you need it. go ahead and throw our tower boost down on all those traps and auras, and we'll just let this damage rip off and kind of chillax it out here. Now here's the start of the Dark Elf Warriors. It's not too bad until Wave 6, but Wave 6 is out of control. As I mentioned, I do suggest, as you're taking damage from these Dark Elf Warriors, that you spam your heal button. I don't know if you noticed my health bar, but I was spamming it every time it got interrupted. I started taking damage. You definitely want to keep yourself healed up. The Delphs will hit like an absolute truck. Now remember, I'm at the armor cap as well, which is 164% for Massacre and Nightmare mode. So I'm at the armor cap, plus I've got a bunch of points dumped into health. So yeah, these guys just hit hard. It's real popular to use a Squire here and just kind of tank it out with your block ability on the Squire. However, I'm looking for polearms. I'm not looking for swords. So I want to increase my polearm drops by having a monk active. And here's where the Dark Elves start stacking up a little heavier. At this point, though, if I just keep that wall repaired, the only thing that's going to get in here to me is Dark Elf Warriors that jump over. So, you know, it's wall repair simulator. You can literally chillax it back here and, you know, do your best to stay alive and just repair the wall and spray down the ogres. Slice and Dice, of course, just works wonders on Flyers and Dark Elves, and that's why I've got that Slice and Dice at my back to help me take care of business here. A little low again. See the numbers, the damage numbers are just ripping off. You may not even get to see them all. Now we've got one more. I want to switch back to the Huntress again and go with more Thunder Spikes. So let's get ready to go with that. And we'll just start over at this side. Gonna do the same thing and just make them really small and just spam as many of them around as I can. Now I'm using the Thunder Spikes because we got Mad Ogres coming in. And now you see I've got 7,000 mana, so I'm going to blow a good portion of this just randomly upgrading things. Not anything in particular. Throwing things off the side of my desk as I go. Good stuff for sure. Let's just keep throwing a few more upgrades around, and then Dark Elf Warrior means it's time to come hide. So I have seen enough. He came and clubbed on me. I'm hiding because the Delphs are going to be the real deal here in this wave, and you're going to see what I mean by keeping your health just spammed. You literally want to spam your heal every single time you take damage. If you're not playing on a Squire and you're not being careful, you can get whittled down pretty easily and end up dying, which in turn will make you lose the map. Now, one of the reasons I sat on so much mana is I want to be able to upgrade this wall and not have to channel repairs into it. So I'm sitting on a ton of mana, but I've got, what, another 1,900 and change more mana I need to spend if I need to upgrade this wall 2 more times. We're about halfway through Wave 6, though, so going pretty well. The loot on the map is just great. Now, it's RNG dependent. Of course, if you play with more players, you're going to have more mobs, and more mobs equals more loot. So it's always in your best interest, if you're playing Massacre mode, to play with friends. Now, down the road, I'm sure there's going to be tons and tons and tons of Massacre public games going. However, right now, there's just not a whole lot, as a lot of players have not progressed all the way into Massacre quite yet. And lots of damage. Flyers just getting chewed up by that Slice and Dice. And now all the ogres are dead, which means we probably will have another few rounds of Delphs. There's one, there's another right there. But for the most part, it's GG's at this point. It would take me doing something stupid to lose the map at this point. So I'm just going to sit here in the protection of this Slice and Dice and spam that heal and make sure I don't die. You see those Inferno Trap numbers just ripping off, but that's what, 8 to 10 Inferno Traps down right there. So there's quite a few Infernos down, and they are just shredding the enemies. And oh, let me tell you, the Enrage Aura. People were using the Enrage quite a bit really early in the beta, but the Enrage Aura is just good stuff. Now let's take a look around the map here at some of the loot. There should be some good stuff here. There's no doubt. And you can see the quality of the armor pieces that are dropping. Actually, I haven't seen any really high piece. That's the highest piece so far this map, I think, as far as builder sets. Let's see what's in the box here. I think that's probably the best overall builder piece I got so far. Maybe? Nothing really exceptional to stare at. There's a quality piece. It's not great, but it's a piece that would work, that's for sure. And that is the Glitterhelm challenge on Massacre Hardcore. Super fun, awesome grinder. As I mentioned, I want a lot of pole arms to look at, and boy, what do I have on the ground here? I got a lot of pole arms to look at, and just about everything is transcendent. There's a few mythicals that are mixed in, but it looks like just about everything is a trans piece here, and that is good stuff. So thank you all so much for watching. Make sure to click that like button, please subscribe to the channel, and I will be back soon with more Dungeon Defenders Awakened. You had better believe it. Thanks again, I'll see you next time.